Yeah. Hey. All right. Hey. Yeah, I mean.
So we about to take off.
Hey. Please do remain calm. About to run against it and with a little bit of soul, no times.
Welcome to Please Remain Calm. I'm Ben Gonzalez.
And I am Daniel Gonzalez. Listen, folks, as always, the opinions expressed here on the Please Remain Calm podcast are our own. They do not reflect the opinions of the Los Angeles City Fire Department or the Los Angeles County Department of Health Services. Before we start the show, I want to talk a little bit about our sponsors. Hey guys, I want to take a minute and talk to you about one of our sponsors, CBD Living Water. I've said it on the podcast 100 times. I love drinking water. It's damn near all I drink. So when we got approached by CBD Living Water to partner with them and have them be a part of the podcast, we jumped at it. CBD Living Water stimulates your CB1 and CB2 receptors. It's great for your immune system. It hydrates you. It has electrolytes in it. Throughout the day at the firehouse, we're working all day long. It's obviously a blue collar job. Whether we're on an emergency incident or we're training, we're out there, we're working, we're sweating out in the sun, and we have to replenish those fluids. And CBD Living Water is what I carry with me at the station. I've taken a couple cases to the station. The guys are using it. Our listeners are using it and loving it. So check them out. They're at CBD Living Water on Instagram. They've got a bunch of great CBD products, but check them out and go get a case for yourself, CBD Living Water. All right. I want to talk to you about our sponsor, Planted. I've said that 100 times that I love drinking water. A good friend of mine who is a runner, you guys can look him up too, iFireFit on Instagram. He's an LA City fireman, but he's a long distance runner, and he got me into adding chlorophyll to my water. So listen, obviously I'm not a machine. I do drink other things besides water and juices. So when Planted approached us about sponsoring the podcast, and I saw that they were a chlorophyll-based elixir, we jumped at it. They sent us a case and we tried it out. It's really an amazing drink, guys. It is a chlorophyll plant elixir drink. Kind of has a sparkling water base, a bunch of different fruit juices. Only 5 grams of sugar, and that sugar is from raw organic sugar. But it does have that chlorophyll in it, which is great for you. I drink this whenever I don't have any water around. I like to, it's about as close to drinking a refreshing water as you can get. It's kind of got a lemon lime taste to it. But I have these at home. My wife loves them. My kids love them. I drink them. I have them, when I have meals or whatnot at the station. It's a fantastic product. They're a fantastic company. You can check out their website at Get Planted. That's PLNTD.com, or you can see them on Instagram at Get_Planted. That's PLNTD. Get Planted. Check them out. And we're back.
All right.
Look, man, we obviously, talk a lot about the fire department, a lot about different ways that people have paths that they've taken to get on the fire department.
Yeah, they're not all the same. We highlighted an episode the other day on Instagram, if you guys follow the PRC Instagram, about literally a path to the fire department where we had 2 guys that worked under you before as explorers and as cadets. Or no, as cadets and as interns.
Yeah.
That both made it on the job, and they had 2 different paths. So there's all different ways to do it. And yeah, we cover it.
It's like one of those things where it's one of the reasons why being on the fire department is so interesting, because everybody that you work with has their entirely other outside life that they have. You got cowboys or guys that play sports professionally, Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
Guys that came over from PD, guys that are military, still active military. There's all kinds of different just different backgrounds and different people that you run into. And with that, you get all these crazy stories of how people became. That's why anytime we have anybody on the podcast that is related to the fire department in any which way, I always like to ask, or if they're on the fire department, whatever fire department, they're volunteers, whatever, I always like to ask what sparked your thoughts of even becoming a firefighter.
What was your way to get there? We've heard some interesting stuff.
and you know, best laid plans. You know what I mean? Like, you can have. I posted. I finally got an old copy of my high school yearbook, right? From my friend Salila.
Yeah.
And you know, in there I had a like a senior profile where I talked, and I had my plan laid out there, right? Plans on going to SMC to get his AA degree, and you know, go to paramedic school, better prepare. Like, I had a plan laid out, and it just happened to work for me, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes though, shit happens.
That is kind of crazy though, that you did the plan that you put out.
I did. Right?
In your senior year yearbook.
Yeah, set a plan and fucking stick to it. But sometimes,
like a high school hero.
Sometimes life has other plans for you.
Right.
You set out to do something. You have an idea of what you might want to do, and boom, something happens that just puts a roadblock in front of your thoughts or your plans.
Yes.
And there's different ways that you can react to that, right? Like, some people, something like that will happen. Like, they have plans, they have goals, they've seen, you know, way down the road into the future what their life is going to be like based on these plans, and then something happens that throws everything off, and it completely derails them, right?
Yeah,
it can delve, you know, go off into alcohol, drugs, whatever. It just like completely throws their entire life off.
Absolutely, people we've known.
I always try to tell people, and you know, it's funny being in this position and being a guy with a little bit of time on. Like, I'm to a point where people hit me up for advice, and
right.
I have like a certain level of mentorship with people, right?
Right.
With Petey, for instance, right? We have Petey, our good friend, brother, Pedro Montero. What episode was that?
That one is gonna be, I think, episode 19.
Episode 19.
Petey,
you know, if you haven't listened to or heard that podcast, go back and listen to it. Petey's a coach now for the Dodgers, but you know, he's been a friend of ours forever. Went to college with our little brother Carlos, and wanted to be a firefighter. And he's one of those guys that just, you know, hustles, and he's, you know, the first one there, last one to leave. You know, really dedicates himself to things, and he was doing that with the fire department. And, you know, long story short, he winds up getting hired by Long Beach, and something happens in the drill tower, and he has an auto fail on something and gets fired from their drill tower.
Right.
And I still remember the day, like, he called me and was like, damn near in tears, you know, like, dude, what the hell? You know, I was so close to graduating my whole life. Like, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? And it was just like, hey, Petey, man, sometimes shit like that happens, you know. It's all about how you react to it. What are you gonna do now, man? Maybe there's something better, you know, in store for you in the future, blah 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 blah. And just trying to give him a pep talk, you know, to make him feel better. Then, you know, the stars align. He gets offered a job with the Dodgers in the Dominican, and he, you know, works his way up, and now he's with the big league.
Hustled his way into being a pro baseball
coach, right? Yeah. Sometimes life just takes funky turns. So this past week, you know, obviously you guys know I'm a paramedic with the LAFD. And as a paramedic, every 2 years, I have to have a certain amount of continuing education as a paramedic, right? And then there's a whole process for renewing your paramedic license when it comes up.
Right.
The pandemic has kind of thrown all that into a little tussle. And so there's there's different ways of doing it. Anyways, because they've kind of changed the way you renew, they audit you now. Like, they'll randomly audit certain paramedics. So I get this letter saying that I'm being audited. So they you know, have to print out all my certificates from all my CEs and all that stuff, right, and turn it all in properly. And you really got to like
change the process.
They changed the process, to make it, I guess, easier to renew.
But if they pick you as the person that gets audited, then you have to show all your
You have to show everything, and it's the whole thing, right? So I get this letter that I'm being audited, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm doing whatever, man. I just got to do all the same stuff I've been
printing
doing. But my one of my good buddies is the captain that's like in charge of all that stuff, right? We worked together for a long time. And so, you know, I call him up, hey, I'm going to come by your office to turn all this stuff in. And so I get there, and I meet our guest, right? And we'll introduce him right now. Our guest today is Luis Mora. Say hi, man.
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
So we're just kind of sitting there chit chatting and talking, right? And I'm always promoting the podcast and whatnot,
Right?
And so I go, hey man, check out our podcast. And I think I even had a PRC shirt on when we went in there, and we were just chatting and stuff like that. And he was telling me about how he was trying to get on the fire department, wanted to get on the fire department, and had a injury. And so we're talking about that, and it just got me thinking about how that happens sometimes. Just like I said, life will throw a twist in, and it's really just all about how you react to those changes that life throws at you, right? Some of them you have control over, and some of them you have no control over whatsoever.
Yeah, totally.
So we started talking about his situation. I just thought, man, this is a crazy story. It just seemed like the more we talked and got on, there was like different angles and different turns and stuff. And I was like, man, that's pretty interesting. You want to come on the podcast and talk about it? So invited him on, and now he's here. So Luis, thanks for coming on, man. It's really great to have you on. So I kind of want to just start at the beginning. Right, you had an injury to your bicep. You were a pro boxer for a little while, and you had an injury when you were training that kind of took you out of the running for getting on the fire department. But you still wound up working for the city of LA under two different mayoral administrations.
Correct.
And wound up working as a civilian with the fire department. But let's just start at the beginning. And we were talking about how you came up and how you kind of got to the point where you were a pro boxer and stuff like that. Yeah. Let's just start at the beginning and kind of work our way through.
So I was born in Lincoln Heights.
Okay.
I came from I was made in Mexico, literally made in Mexico. My mom got here when she was 7 months pregnant.
Right.
Oh,
so
really?
I was born in Lincoln Heights.
You're an anchor baby.
Yeah.
Get it where you
we
fit
just
in,
got to
buddy.
get him over the board.
Hold on. I've heard that one before. My
Hold the
mother-in-law.
door open.
Shout out to my mother-in-law. She was the first one to tell me about that. But anywho, so I was born in Lincoln Heights, and they wanted to move my dad out of the neighborhood because he was gang affiliated. And
Lincoln Heights, East LA, right?
Yeah, Lincoln Heights. It's like north. Well, they call it
northeast.
Northeast Los Angeles.
LA, yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That's true. Not the Lincoln Heights of today.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So I feel a little more comfortable going there now, right?
Yeah.
But it's
back then it was a different story. Yeah.
I mean, just 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Was I went to Nightingale Middle School. So before I get to that, so we moved out of Lincoln Heights when I was 2. I don't remember Lincoln Heights. All pictures. We went to Santa Ana. Then we moved to Anaheim. Then we moved to Orange. Back to Anaheim. Then to another place in Anaheim. Moved around a lot.
Bouncing around.
My dad was a legit fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knew how to fuck shit up. So we moved out. And then my dad ended up disappearing for a little while. Then I find out at age 11... they sent me out to Mexico for the summer, and I found out my dad had found a job in Sun Valley.
Oh, okay.
But where's the Valley, though? For real, where's the Valley? Nah. Everybody in LA doesn't know about the Valley, but the Valley's LA. So then,
shoot, Sun Valley. I mean, you might as well be in Wyoming up there.
no, but I mean, the Sun Valley
horses and.
But it's different now. It's
Yeah.
different now.
Yeah.
So then my dad, I come back from Mexico. I'm about to be 11, or I'm 11. He tells me, "Hey, son, we're moving out," and I literally lived a block away from Disneyland, like a long block away from Disneyland. So every night was fireworks night.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Yeah. That's
Dope.
crazy.
I mean, I was raised in the OC, so I don't want to move out. I don't know what to expect. So we moved to
And
Lincoln
this is
Heights.
after your dad had been gone for how long?
It was a while, a few months. Well, I mean, he was gone for a few months before I left to Mexico, but then I was in Mexico for 3 months.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You came back, and then he's back.
So then, no, he's not back, but he's coming back to pick us up, to take us back over there.
Gotcha. Just back around.
Yeah. So then, my godfather, shouts out to my godfather, Rigoberto, took us in. We're living in the living room. I had a room actually, but my parents were in the living room, so he helped my parents get their money together. We ended up having this small shitty apartment on Workman and Main in Lincoln Heights, right by Dino's.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dino's Burgers. That was one of my best sponsors ever. He just sponsored my kids as well. And So we moved there, and then my dad put me up on game. He was like, "Look, son, you know this is not the OC. This is LA. You're gonna get into some shit around here. You gotta defend yourself. You gotta know how to stand up for yourself. I'm not gonna be around. I'll be working." My mom was a hard worker as well. So then I started making friends, right? Not the right ones, but the right ones at the time. The ones that had my back or who we stood.
You're in middle school at this time? Or?
Middle school. Yeah. So I started going to Nightingale Middle School in Cypress Park. I'm growing up. I decided to join the boxing gym. Thanks to one of my cousins that was doing boxing, but he wasn't serious about it. So then we go to the gym, and I was serious about it. He stopped boxing. I didn't. I started catching a lot of beefs, streets.
You're what?
School.
13 at this
12.
time? 12, 13? Yeah.
12. I mean, I'm knuckling up.
Yeah.
I'm knuckling up.
Now you're trained.
I mean, I'm trained, but you also got to understand the fear of also letting my hands go is always on my head, because these kids, if they get beat up, they go to the second alternative, which is guns, right? Yeah. And you can't fight with guns, right? So I'm walking, I don't know how many miles every day to school and back, right? As I'm doing that, I'm crossing, I mean, I live in Workman in Maine. Yeah. Clover.
Different neighborhoods.
I'm walking through Dogtown. Yeah. Maybe I'm walking through 18. I'm walking through Cypress. I'm walking through, you know what I mean? I'm walking through Lincoln Heights. Yeah. I'm walking through Eastlake. Like, it's like, we're talking about a few miles, right?
Yeah. And there's like 10, 15 gangs right
You
there.
have to like know your route. So that built this individual who not only developed like some sort of fear to walk places, but also like a defensive mechanism. Like I'm just like very defensive.
Constantly on edge.
Always on edge, right? People don't take that into like, they don't consider that, because like not everybody's raised in the same place, right?
Yeah. I think too. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, so like what years was this? This was like early
2001.
Yeah. Like it was a different time back then too, man. Like that was still like the tail end of like gangster gangster rap, gangster music.
Different back then.
That area, area was like hardcore gangster, and it was like there was like a whole gangster like culture at that time too. You know what I mean? Where it was like everybody. It was like the thing to be.
And it was old ass gangs too. They've been there since like the 50s and 60s. Like there's like generations. So it's like you're picking up stuff from your dad.
we had some individuals that were, I mean, my dad was never around. He was working, right? When he wasn't working, he wasn't in the right place, but he wasn't home. Street, yeah. So you gotta understand, there's some individuals who are around, who are probably as old as my dad, who are pushing this in the street, right?
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
So there's like no love and no respect, but there's also like a big influence, right?
Right.
Did you feel like because you were boxing and because you had hands and people knew you had hands, that people were targeting you or like approaching you specifically because you were known for throwing hands?
Not targeting me, but maybe throwing bait, you know?
Yeah. You know? Trying to lure you into things.
Yeah. And you know, that's something I was very bad at. You know, I was a fish. I was like, all right, you know?
Yeah.
And that's not what I was trying to aim for, but you gotta understand, I'm not developed yet. You know, I'm not mature enough.
Sure, yeah.
You tell me that now, I laugh at you and I walk away. But at that moment in time, it's like I was looking for that, right?
What a trip it is growing up and getting a little bit of wisdom, you know, and then you have your kids and you can see, you know, the little mistakes they make, and you're like, fuck, man. And you think back to like when you were that age, and or you see them get worked up about something, you know, my brother called me a name or whatever, and it's like, man, just let, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's funny how growing up you get that little bit of wisdom.
But you know what? I don't regret anything, because I have a little brother as well.
Yeah.
He's 8 years younger, and due to the fact of what he witnessed, not because he didn't really witness anything with my dad. He witnessed everything through me.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. He ended up being like very smart, very intelligent, very outgoing. He graduated from Pepperdine, full ride.
Oh wow!
And he
knew that shit wasn't for him.
No, he knew. But unfortunately, because I exposed him to it.
Sure.
Yeah. He was following me around and he got to see it firsthand.
So at that age in middle school, were you into that lifestyle at that point?
I wasn't, but I was pretty much forced into it because I didn't have parents who were around for anything. They didn't know. I unfortunately didn't even graduate from middle school. They just threw me to high school. Like, get out of here, you know?
Yeah,
For the luau, I had to jump over the fence and put on a shirt from like Old Navy that one of my friends let me borrow so I could, and I was in the dance floor the whole time because I didn't want anybody to see me. The security of the school knew me.
Of the middle school?
He would have seen me. He would have kicked me out, right?
That's crazy.
But
man.
I just wanted to be part of it, right? I felt left out. I didn't graduate.
You
So
snuck back into school.
So that built a lot of anger, slowly but surely. Now that I'm older, I reflect back, right, and I try to see where everything went wrong, where everything went right, the flaws, so that I could push that on my kids.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen to them. At least I could say that I taught them. So anger built up. So now I'm going to Lincoln, right? It's a whole different animal, right?
High school.
Yeah. And you got to understand, I'm going to Nightingale. And Nightingale has other gangs compared to where I live and where I'm going to go to school now, right? We got Cypress Park.
What's Nightingale?
Nightingale is a middle school.
Okay. That's right.
Florence Nightingale. It's right across from Cypress Best.
Mhm.
What station's there? Off of Cypress Avenue. There's the station right before the Heights sandwich spot by Glassell Park. It might be Nines. Is it Nines? No, it's not Nines.
44.
44s.
Yeah.
44s.
44s.
Okay.
Daddy's work there.
So
For
you
a
got
minute.
all these gangs. You got Cypress. You got
King
Avenues.
Taco right there too.
No.
Am I tripping? No. Okay.
no.
Anyway, sorry.
That's Lincoln Heights.
Yeah.
That's Lincoln Heights.
Either way, you're at Lincoln High. It's completely different gangs
Mhm.
now.
So now I hung out with a crowd over here, but now I'm over here by myself, right? So I have to make new friends, right? And
Yeah.
all these people who are in Lincoln, they're coming from Boyle Heights, they're coming from El Sereno Middle School, Belvedere. They're coming
It's a
from
whole new world.
whole new world,
Yeah.
right?
You got to figure out.
So again,
And at that point, are you boxing at that point?
yeah, I'm
still?
boxing. I'm a Golden Gloves champion.
Oh, shit.
Shouts out to my former coach Hector Shark, rest in peace. He devoted his life to boxing, and he would take us out of his own money to tournaments all around. So that would take me out of the streets for a while.
And that's what I was gonna say. You know, with a lot of these like combat sports and teachers and stuff like that, a big part of it is keeping your nose clean and giving you something to keep you out of the streets and keep you out of trouble. Was that something that the people at the boxing gym, because you were kind of falling in that lifestyle outside, was that something that they fought with you to try to stay out of, or did they keep it separate?
Well, they didn't have to because I was always performing.
Yeah.
I was always performing, but you gotta understand, right? I don't live in a good neighborhood. I gotta run. I gotta get my cardio.
Sure.
So where am I running? I'm running the streets.
Yeah.
Right. While I'm running, I'm still building some animosity because I'm always watching my back. I can't run with headphones.
Yeah.
I gotta run at night because I go to school. I do I'm limited to what I can do. I'm not one of these kids who has a gym, has a treadmill, has a good place of training where they can it's accessible like 24/7. So everything just, it's time limited and you have to work with what's there, right?
Yeah.
So of course he pushed it on us. He tried his best.
Sure.
A lot of us failed. A lot of us didn't. We were all a team, but he took us out. He took us traveling. I would win tournaments. I went to Colorado Springs. I went to Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Damn.
So I went out. I traveled. I flew on planes.
This is all through high school?
All through high school.
All right.
Yeah. But then we'll come back, right? And when you come back,
fall right back into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the big thing in the hood is that people think that you're rich when you're into like pro sports.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's one in a million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They think that you're
traveling and everything. Yeah.
They think I was wearing Jordan and all this other stuff, right? But then you come back and the hood kind of tries to pull you back into the streets. I felt from experience like the neighborhood didn't want to see you make it out. They would say they wanted you to make it out,
Yeah.
but realistically, by their actions, they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? They
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's human nature, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see somebody winning, you start thinking about yourself and God, I came from the same spot as this guy.
Yeah.
Why am I
So
still?
I
For
found
a
myself
reason.
in the same cycle as in middle school, fucking up, hanging out with the wrong crowd. I had this neighbor who was very, very active, and he came from Bakersfield.
Yeah.
So he apparently stabbed somebody in Bakersfield, a teacher or something. I didn't
Damn.
know the whole story because I didn't really care. He was a cool guy, and
Yeah.
but he came in and we used to call him a funny name because he had a scar on his chin. We used to call him Peachin, and he used to get mad. So then people,
Then he tried to stab us, and
No,
it's
no,
like
The scar looked like a P or what?
yeah, it looked like a
looked like he had a P on his
yeah, like a P with a V. so they would call him that in high school.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, now I got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he didn't like that. So whenever people wanted to like get him mad, so then he ended up going to I think East Lake Juvenile Hall.
yeah.
And then he came out, and when he came out, I had got into some accident where I burned my legs.
Mm.
Right? So I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, trying to make easy money, and I burned my legs.
Okay. How bad?
Bad. 3rd and 2nd degree burns.
Ooh.
Real
Yeah.
bad. I still have the
That
scars.
money wasn't so easy.
I mean, what money? You know what I mean?
Shit.
All the time off,
Yeah.
all the pain.
Sure.
And I never knew how much pain
Oh.
you could go through
Burns.
by getting burned
Ah,
until that happened. So
yeah. It's the worst.
I took that as a blessing after because I was
A wake up call.
behind on credits, first of all, right?
Yeah.
I was near death.
For school, you mean?
Yeah, near death experience, right? I was traumatized.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you still boxing?
I couldn't walk. No, well, at that time I was off for a while. So I remember they sent me a get well card, my teammates,
Yeah.
and it said stop burning yourself. It's not that cool anymore. So at that time, and this is a story that I want to mention. At that time, my wife Ashley, she wondered like what's going on. Where's Lewis? Right. So she asked around what was going on. She didn't know because no one knew. The only person that knew were the people involved.
Right.
And when it took me like a year to recover. While I was recovering, I was having homeschool. So I had nothing better to do than to just, do my work. So I did my work and I caught up in 1 year, 3 years of school.
Oh, really?
Damn.
Homeschool was easy.
Yeah.
That's why people don't offer homeschool because homeschool is easy. Then you have enough time to go be in the streets. So I finally went back to school. I was ahead of credits. I was a senior and I only had to attend one semester.
Oh,
So I had a
nice.
free semester. So then I had a probation officer, unfortunately, because
Got in trouble.
even
at
though
some
I
point,
never
yeah.
admitted to what happened and no one knows,
Yeah.
they're not stupid.
Yeah.
They knew that you're not doing something that's right.
Yeah.
So they put me on probation, academic probation. I had a counselor. The principal was involved.
Hey, wait. They put you like on probation at school also
Yeah, well, yeah, because
of what happened?
well,
Like
because
they like tried to make you talk? And
no,
then-
because of what happened,
Uh-huh.
but also because I was so behind on credits that
yeah.
I had a reason for them. I had to find a reason for them to give me homeschool,
Yeah.
and that wasn't enough because there's like other alternative, like where I was in crutches, so I could still get to school. Like
right.
they just find a bunch of excuses, but luckily the principal she was familiar with me, so she knew. She was like, "Look, cut the bullshit, right? Like we know what's going on." So I come back, and then the counselor's like, "All right, well, you're only gonna be here for one semester. What you gonna do the next semester?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be kicking back." He's like, "No, you should go to college. Just graduate, get your diploma, and go to college." I was like, "Nah, I was just finding excuses." And he's
Sure,
like,
yeah.
"Look,
Yeah.
there's this program, right? They'll take you to City Hall, or they'll take you to DWP, and you'll be at a youth service academy. It's for at youth risk. I recommend that you should do it." Nah, I'm just gonna no. It's not an option. You cannot
Yeah.
do it. Either you graduate mid school year and you go to college, or we give you your diploma and you go fuck up your life, or you go to this program and
Get some
then you
direction.
graduate with your friends, my so-called friends, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so they would count it
Gotcha.
like as keeping you in school,
Yeah. So,
be in this
but
program. Okay.
I mean, the mentality, right? My friends. I want to graduate with my friends, right?
Yeah. That's
But-
the reason you did it.
But but none of them came to visit me when I was
yeah.
Burned.
right.
Well, but it's the different things that are important to you at that time, at that
Right.
age, you know?
So then
You want that acceptance from your friends. And
So I go to the Youth Service Academy, DWP, and I don't know what they seen in me. They picked me out. Like we need 2 people to go to City Hall because there's too many people do DWP. Everybody wants to be a DWP because of money, right?
Sure, yeah.
Make more money.
it's a fantastic
Good-ass
job, by the way.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
then I'm trying to like not be the one to be picked. They
Yeah.
pick me. Like, damn. So I go, I'm like, I'm going to work with all these people with monkey suits, right?
Yeah.
That's how you look at it because
Sure.
you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
So they send me over and I'm working for Mayor Villaraigosa, right? So then it's a 6-month internship, paid internship, but DWP pays us.
Hey, hold up. Are you still like in crutches? Or
No,
like
you're
how are
fully
your leg- how are your
recovered.
legs
No,
at that
fully
point?
recovered.
Okay.
So
this
no,
is
I
like-
went through
this is when you're
therapy.
back to school.
I went through therapy at LACUSC.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was crazy. So what they would do is like they would get this steel cloth type looking thing, right?
Mhm.
I had like I had a scabs, right?
Yeah.
And they would
Prime
just
Malaysia.
scrub it off.
Yeah, bro.
The first time they made my dad scrub it off, and legit he cried.
Yeah.
He cried and he said, "You motherfucker,
Yeah.
you motherfucker, you." He was like, "Never again." He's like, "Dude, that shit. I think that shit hurt me more than it hurt you."
Yeah,
Right?
that's crazy.
So he's like, "Next time we come, you going in by yourself." And I was like, "Fuck, all
Damn.
right, I get it, right?"
Hey, so you were in the burn unit at USC when you
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had
You
your
to
skin
spend
grafts
time
and
there?
everything?
I mean, I spent a few months because every time
Yeah.
it scabbed up, like I can't even. I don't have
Yeah.
enough fingers to tell you how much it would
course.
scab up, and then they would like stretch my legs because it was in the back, so it's right here right in the middle.
Yeah.
So it would try to heal with my knees kind of like
Yeah.
bent, right?
It's a
Like,
credit. I mean, but it's the reason why burns on feet, on any kind of joints and everything
Mhm.
are considered critical burns because
Yep.
they're the movement. They heal back the wrong way. Now you can't move that joint because of the skin being too tight or whatever.
So they eventually took the crutches away. They're like, forget the crutches. Like you can't even use them.
yeah.
Like you're too dependent on them. So I mean, we didn't have a car. My dad, I don't know what he did. He sold a car. We would walk. So it wasn't that far from my house, but we walked and it was horrible.
Oh, yeah, you're in Lincoln Heights at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were close.
It's the neighborhood where the
Yeah,
where
yeah.
the hospital is.
Yeah,
But
it was
still.
well, I was born in the hospital as well. So,
Yeah.
There you go. Full circle.
So,
Yeah. But to have, you said 3rd and 2nd degree burns, right?
yeah, right. Those are the on
on your legs.
third.
To
on
have
this
to
one,
walk
second.
anywhere.
So
Yeah.
third on the
Third
right
one.
one, second on the left one. Yeah, it was. So finally, I get picked up. They're like, okay, 6-month internship. I was at Rio Hondo at the moment,
And now you're at City Hall. So you got
Yeah,
an
I'm a
internship at City Hall
City-
working for Villaraigosa.
and going part time to Rio Hondo, right?
And you're
free.
And your job with when you're at City Hall is what you're just basically a grunt. You do whatever the hell they want you to do. And
Pretty much.
Mailroom.
But at the moment, I was the intern for the mail document control manager. That's what they call it. But he
Yeah.
was the one doing the mail. It was cool. I mean, I was getting paid a little bit of money, but I wasn't doing much. Then that's the first time I got introduced to like a fire academy at Rio Hondo.
Yeah.
So I would look at the guys
Uh-huh.
do the biddle,
sure,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I would have a kick out of it. I mean, it's pretty fun.
yeah.
Watching
You,
them.
so
Yeah, we
you
did
saw
it
him do it,
there.
and
Yeah.
you did it. You just
No,
try
no,
it.
I was
You're just watching, thinking
yeah.
that'd be fun.
That'd be
Right?
fun. I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta
Your
understand.
legs are still jacked up,
So
though,
no. My legs were good,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was very athletic, right?
But you were there at Rio Hondo just as a student. You were taking classes.
Yeah, because it was free. While
Yeah.
you're a high school student, any
Any class you take.
any college or university offers free courses to high school students.
Yeah.
So
So you were just taking like general education.
I was taking
shit while
like
you're there.
I was taking like
Spanish.
poli-sci, and economics, some weird courses. Just
And then
anything that easy. That was easy at the
and you
moment.
just happen to see guys out there doing the biddle.
Yeah, it was, but I didn't know what it was, to
Yeah.
say the truth. I just knew that it was I guess like a fire. I don't know if you
So-
consider it an academy.
So for those that don't know, the biddle was this physical abilities test that you took that it basically like certified you for a year or whatever, right?
Yeah,
you got this,
applied to other fire departments.
you got this card that said, hey, you passed this like almost like an obstacle course, right?
Yeah, it's an obstacle course that like mimic firefighting duties.
Yeah.
in
So
a
you'd
row.
you'd have like a coat and a helmet on, and you'd go and you'd drag this like 180-pound dummy around these cones, and then drop it, and then go, pull a lanyard on a weight, like simulating extending a ladder, and then you'd hustle up the drill. It was like this whole obstacle
you had to
course.
crawl. You had to.
So when you
run a
were
tower.
trying to get hired anywhere, you had to have the biddle, right?
Yeah.
You had to have like a current biddle passed.
Yeah,
But it's no joke either, right? Like you go there to do it, and you see other people doing it. And I can remember the first time I ever took the biddle. I'm like waiting for my turn to go, and a couple of people have gone, and then finally this guy goes, and he's doing the whole thing, and he goes up, and he's out the window, and he's pulling the hose pack up, and he's like, we're all cheering him on and shit. And he came out, and he walked out of the door of the like drill tower. I think it was at Santa Fe Springs.
yeah.
And
So the real Hondo one. was.
that must have been the
Yeah,
same
we did
exact
it
one.
there, yeah.
Comes out of the door, and the finish line is like 15 feet from the door, right? He comes out and he stops, and he's just like standing there looking at all this. And we're like, come on, dude, you're right there. And just crumbled to the ground, passed out. And I'm like, oh shit, this is no
Shit
joke.
was hard, man.
And then, you do it, and you're like, you get through, and I was like in great shape at the time, right? And I'm like, and you get toward the end, you're like, holy shit, I am tired, right? And so for a lot of guys, it's your first experience with getting any kind of like physical activity of what it's like to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking eye opener, dude.
Yeah.
Trust me, if you've never like done it or
They give you 9 minutes, and I think I was like 8.5 minutes. I was so happy that I was under
Yeah.
9 minutes, man. 'cause that shit
but
was
you saw
hard,
that and you were
dude.
like, oh, this is
Yeah.
crazy. That's kind of
yeah,
interesting.
well, they offered the courses. I just never took advantage of them. So then, my internship is over. They tell me figure it out. So I interviewed for a few jobs, and I had this after school program give me an offer, and I took it. Luckily for me at that moment, the guy who I was an intern for got a job as a mayor's photographer.
Mm.
So then they offered me
Wait, what's his name?
Tyrone Washington.
Okay.
And he got the job. So then they offered me the position, and I said I can't take it full time because I'm about to start at Cal State LA. I started through the EOP program,
Okay.
Education Opportunity Program. So I was still a little, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I made up my mind to take the job. It was just a no-brainer. So I take the job. I'm going to Cal State LA. I'm still living in the neighborhood, right? So
Still boxing at this point or no?
still boxing.
Yeah.
I had just came back from Colorado Springs. I did the Olympic trials. I failed the first round, but I really did try. I tried my hardest, but I'm my type of style in boxing. I'm a scrapper.
Yeah.
I'm a straight scrapper. I don't have. There's no filling process. I mean, if you Googled me, if you watch my YouTube videos, I take 2 to get 3 in, 1
Sure,
in. That's just
Yeah.
how I'm built.
Right.
I'm short too, so I'm a little stocky. Plus, I like action. When I watched fights as a kid, all I wanted to see was people
Yeah.
beat each other up.
Get it in
Right?
there. Yeah.
And plus, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like the adrenaline. I like feeling that black moment for like 2 seconds, and then like opening your eyes and seeing your opponent. It feels like if you ever played the boxing video game, it's exactly like that, but just you're actually getting hit.
Yeah.
So you're feeling it. After a few punches, you numb up to it.
Yeah.
There's
There's really nothing like it, man.
No.
Like actually being in a fight with somebody. And
I miss it so much, right? My son is 8 years old. I've taken him to boxing gyms, and his birthday wish for his 8th birthday was, Dad, I want to see you fight, because he was a few months old when I had my last fight.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll
You
see
show
what
him
happens.
videos and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I show him
Hell
videos.
yeah, dude.
My son,
Yeah.
he's one of a kind. Ethan is gotta understand. He's been around since I've been going through these like roller coasters.
Yeah.
And he feels the energy, no doubt about it.
Sure.
Mhm.
He feels the energy. He wants me to do good in life. He wants his dad to be there when he gets older. And what he doesn't understand.
He's 8, you said?
He's 8,
Yeah.
but he still doesn't know how life works, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I just gotta give him the best of my time that I have.
Would you let him box? If he
Of
wants to
course.
box? Yeah.
I mean,
You can get him
true
into it?
story, which had my wife crying. He thinks he's a badass, and he is.
Yeah.
But you don't play boxing, so he wanted to go spar without training. I said, all right, I'm gonna take you to go spar. I took him to go spar at West Side Boxing Gym. They said, oh yeah, we have the experience. What's his experience? I said, don't worry about that. Just throw me throw me a guy who has experience, but that's a little like, how much does he weigh? He weighs 75 pounds. Throw me a guy that's 60 pounds. But he's 75. I said, trust me, I know what I'm doing. All right, cool. So I throw him in there. He said, hey, Dad, who am I going to? You're going with that guy. Little guy, whatever.
Little guy.
He beat some sense into him. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's an eye-opener, man. When you catch a nice straight punch to the nose.
And then I
Where'd
told
they
him,
come from?
It'll take the wind out of your sails real
but
quick.
I told him what I did. I told him, I said, look, he was mad at me for, he was talking smack, but my wife was mad. Why would you do that? Because if I would have put an easy guy in front of him, he would have just remained with his cocky attitude and thinking he's bad.
Yeah, pump him up.
You need to train.
Yeah.
If you don't train, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So since then, he's getting a little better.
Right.
But he's also very athletic, and he plays baseball, soccer. So I put him in all kinds of sport because I want him to be open to whatever he ends up loving. And right now, it seems like soccer's the thing.
Yeah.
But he also has a older brother which plays soccer, so I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, of course. So you're back from Olympic trials, boxing full swing. Your legs are fully recovered. You're starting this new job, starting Cal State LA, and then are you trying to go pro now?
Well, I was approached by some managers at the moment who were working with Golden Boy.
Okay.
So I after the Olympic trials, I wasn't boxing anymore. I didn't have the time, and I didn't have like anywhere close. They closed the old county jail where I was going down the block, Avenue 19, by there's by the shops.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
The LAFD shops.
Yeah.
So then they approached me and they're like, look, man, you have a lot of potential, charisma, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, how much you guys gonna pay? He was like, dude, that's not how it works. Like, we're picking you up and we're gonna pay for this and that, but you have to find the time for it. All right, cool. So then I sign with them. I do 2 fights at Club Nokia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I do my 3rd fight at the Phoenix Club in Orange.
Okay.
Then I do my 4th and 5th at Fantasy Springs in Indio.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that time, I'm catching some energy. I mean, you gotta understand, I hung around a lot of guys who just street, right?
Yeah.
So then they come to my fights and they come deep,
Yeah.
right? They come deep. There's no other way to. I can't tell. Hey guys, don't come.
Sure.
I'm not there to babysit anybody, right? So then it kind of catches the attention of Golden Boy and stuff. And at that moment, there was also other boxers who were doing the same.
Sure. Had their own guys coming to fights. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're knuckleheads. We're not thinking right. So we're just like, we're just trying to get rich, right? That's just, we're trying to get rich. We're
like us all, dude.
We're trying to move out of the hood.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
We're trying to move out of the hood.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, so then in 2000, it was 2012. You know, I mean, I kind of let it like drag me in, right? And I was
the lifestyle
dragged
dragged you back.
Yeah, drive me back, and I started messing up in school. So they have a policy where if you have 2 fails, you get kicked out of the program. So they kicked me out, and then luckily I was, I had a good like resume, and they allowed me back in because of my boxing and who I was, and I was like a good I guess role model.
Yeah.
What were you studying at the time?
I was studying criminal justice.
Criminal justice. Okay.
Yeah, it was the 1800 building right in front. They had just built it.
Yeah.
They had just built it. It's right in front of the 10 freeway.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah, my wife went there too.
yeah. So
She
it
got her
was
undergraduate
very like catchy and I mean criminal justice building like
And you're still working at City Hall at this
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
So you got to understand. I'm finding time for all this, right?
Yeah.
I'm like a firefighter. I'm not sleeping good.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not sleeping good. I'm not healthy. I'm not eating right. I'm like everywhere at once.
When you say you're back in though, like you're doing a little bit of dirt too, or you're just messing up in school,
Or hanging out with the wrong crowd. Or
not dirt, but just having the wrong crowd around me.
the
You know what I mean?
influence.
and that's still who's coming to the fights.
Yeah.
So your managers and Golden Boy are kind of like
My
getting
managers
sketchy about it.
My managers weren't sketchy about it because they kind of knew where I came from.
Uh-huh.
They were kind of just neutral.
Yeah.
But Golden Boy was kind of weird about it.
Yeah.
Are you winning?
Well,
Are you winning?
yeah, well, I'm winning.
Yeah,
I'm winning. But I think you gotta understand there's a business approach, right?
Right.
So what they're looking at is, okay, this guy's is with this side, this guy is on that side. We have all these fighters. We have to match up. We have to put on an event. We don't want any lawsuits and
Of course.
and that's what was happening at a Club Nokia. Like they were selling like beer out of bottles and stuff, and they were throwing bottles.
Yeah.
Right? They were throwing bottles into the ring. You know,
you're the ring and they're throwing bottles in the ring?
not at
Okay,
me, at other people. No,
Yeah.
not at me. I was always
You
getting.
never
fired.
know, man, with those small,
I was always getting
little
fired of the
events.
night. I was always getting fired of the night because I'm just a scrapper.
Yeah.
So then I kind of just fell off. I had a near death experience and in the streets, right? Because bullets have no name.
Yeah.
So then at that moment, my
You got hit or
No, I didn't.
missed
No,
you?
no.
Okay. Yeah.
totally missed.
Yeah.
Too close for comfort.
And
Yeah.
then so I mean, but it was only a matter of time before it happened again, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's just how it goes. Like I have a job, I come in and out of the parking lot. I'm in and out of this down the street. These guys are just out there.
Yeah.
They have nothing else to do, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So my really good friend at the time, my wife Ashley, didn't know what was going on, but she knew I was single, and she was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "What's up?" So we got together, and I realized that most of these guys who I was hanging around with, they might have had like tattoos on the face and all this stuff, but at the end they really weren't looking out for the best.
Yeah.
So my wife came through, and she just wanted to have fun. She took me into her house and moved me out of there. We decided to have a baby, which is my boy Ethan.
Yeah.
And we moved to Montebello. And
This is your first time out of Lincoln Heights then?
pretty much.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we moved to Montebello, right by Beverly Hospital, 2014. They tell me, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "I'm gonna go back into boxing." No. One of my mentors was like, "No, look, the LAFD application is opening up. You're a fighter. Look, the motto, train as if your life depends on it, because it does. That's the same one in boxing.
Yeah.
Come on." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So I apply. Unfortunately, they didn't pick me. They were doing the draft, like lotto pick, whatever.
Yeah.
So I got discouraged, and I was like, "Man, fuck this. I'm going back into boxing." So I told my wife, and my wife was like, "Let's do it." So I went back into boxing. I went full on, lost almost 80, 70 pounds in 6 months. Started getting fight offers left and right.
Yeah,
I started accepting them. Come on, throw me this fucker. I don't care. Whatever. I'll fuck him up. I was just so like hyped up. I was running every
Motivated,
night.
yeah.
I was running with weights in my ankles. I was running with sauna suits. I would get home and I was like, "Come on, baby."
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just like
It's a good feeling to be motivated.
Dialed
for
in,
something,
yeah.
man.
I was just full on, all in.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is my way out of this motherfucker."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
little did I know I was building anxiety. I was building all this other and I want to say I was suffering from PTSD from what I've been through,
Sure,
Right.
yeah.
Plus my dad didn't get to mention the stories my dad put us through throughout
Sure.
the years as a kid.
You had a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So then I get these fight offers, and none of these fuckers want to fight me.
Really?
Right? And these guys are all from the streets,
Yeah.
right? So I start calling names, and so then this guy, Roy Engelbert from the OC Fight Club, was like, "Hey man, I got this guy. I know you never fought more than 4 rounds, but this guy's 8 rounds. Blah blah blah. Jaime Osegueda. He's from East LA. Blah blah. All right, let's go. Throw him in there." he didn't take the fight. He said I was too experienced. How when I'm like 4 fights less than you?
Yeah.
So then the promoter was like, hey man, you got some balls. I'll sign you. I'll do a 4-fight contract. But he lowballed me. I was making $1,000 for a fight. Right?
Damn.
$1,000.
Damn.
That's non-taxed.
But still.
You take home like $400 if anything, right?
Yeah.
Plus the tickets were $50 a pop. All my family is pretty much paying for my check, right?
Right, yeah.
So and I fight the first fight. I fight of the night, kick ass, but I also took some punches. They throw like $700 into the ring, right? OC people. I take half, the other guy takes half. So then the second fight, while getting ready for the second fight, it was during the holidays. I injured my hand, my right hand. So I was hard headed. I still went into the fight knowing I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Got a cortisone shot the day before.
That should solve
the
it.
The hand was numb, but it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I couldn't throw it.
Yeah.
Went into the fight, got knocked out once, got up, got knocked out the second time. My body was glued to the floor, right? So then this is February 2015. I went to jail the next day because I had a few tickets that I had got. So the judge gave me a chance to fight, but I went to jail the next day. That was in my mind.
Oh, you knew you had to go to jail the next day when you had to fight?
The next morning.
Damn,
So-
you got knocked out and had to go to jail the next day, bro.
That's
So
a
they
bad
dropped-
week.
Damn.
So they dropped me off and you know, I had nothing but time to think, right? So I thought and I said, you know what? This is it. You know? So I come back out.
During this whole time, you're still working at City Hall?
Yeah.
Too? Okay.
So then but I mean I had an attorney, so he made it comfortable to the fact where I could do this and that to avoid getting like the people at work knowing what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So then
They just knew you boxed
yeah.
at work?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, they knew I went to jail because I called them from jail. The one time I got arrested, I was in the glass house, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not late. I'm just in jail. I'm in jail." So then they're like, "All right, you only get 2 free calls." So then the next call was to my friend at the time, but my wife Ashley, and they're like, "You have a collect call from," and I was like, "Don't bail me out. Don't bail me out," because they were gonna let me out, and if they bail me out, there's no point, right? So then I come out and I give up the boxing and I'm like, you know what? Let's go for the fire department again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. But this time we're going to go all full force. So I started doing everything, right? CPAC, CAPS.
Sure.
Yeah.
Start going to Frank's. You name it, right?
Yeah.
I start getting my EMT or going to school for EMT.
Yeah.
And everything's coming out of
Checking
pocket.
all the boxes.
Everything's coming out of my pocket, right?
Yeah.
So I get a loan for $10,000, right? I invest myself. I said I gotta invest in myself,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So I applied 2015. It's my interview day. I'm at that moment I'm not the mail guy anymore. I'm the proclamations designer for the mayor, right?
Mhm.
I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put my hands to work. I was very good at it, and it's like I thought about it like this: people who are in prison, right? Unfortunately, they develop like some skills because they have nothing but time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was in the office getting paid 40 hours a week, so I developed a really good skill with calligraphy. So I'm doing this, and it just
Oh,
happened.
you're designing the proclamations,
Yeah,
the
correct.
City
I
of Los
wonder if you did
Angeles
our dad's.
honors. Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they threw me in there without experience. They just got fired. They got rid of the guy, and they threw me in there. They're just like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier to pay you than pay anybody else. So then
They got sick of
That's
his big
crazy.
ass-
It's some guy from the hood.
They got sick of his big ass
Giving
feathers.
your proclamations.
There's some Renaissance
Yeah,
guy
I've seen
before.
that.
They're like, you know what? Give it
That's what
to
I'm saying, yeah.
I was like,
give
hold
it to
on.
Louise. Give it
Trained
to
calligrapher.
I was like, do they want me to do it in all English?
That's
So
what I'm
then,
saying. That's
so then
hilarious.
I get good at it and start doing that, and then my interview date comes in, right? So then I have an interview date, and my interview is it's like a month from the time they send me the invite, right? So it just happens that it's in the morning at 7 a.m. So I mean, I'm not religious, bro, but I believe in a higher power. I have to do a certificate that morning before my interview for Kelly Wan. Rest in peace.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Right? So then I'm like, hold on, Kelly Wan, firefighter. So I look it up because I'm not really in the news or anything. Bro, that was like, I was like, hold up. this is the job I'm trying to do. And he died in train. Hold on. So it made me, I was just like Scooby, like, oh, Shaggy, you know? I was like,
What am I doing?
What the fuck am I doing, bro? But I was like, no. The hood built me for this. I'm not going to let this stop me. Dude, it motivated me. I did his certificate and I walked down to personnel, my head high, my chest high. I was like, it's for you, Kelly Wong. But in my mind, I was fucked up.
Yeah.
In my heart, I knew I was right. But in my mind, I was like, this is some bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I go, panel is a little diverse, right? I don't want to get into like, but it's diverse, right?
Yeah.
There's someone from personnel. There's someone from, I don't know where else. And then there's the captain, right?
Captain, yeah.
Dude, flying colors. I just went boom, 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 boom. I get my score, 100.
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
was like, shit.
Well on your way.
So then they tell me, but individuals who, I don't know what the protocol is, who served or who did something, they have 5 extra points. What are the
Military.
military?
Yeah.
I was like, man, some bullshit. But whatever, right? So I'm 100, but people were 105. So then, dude, they gave me my score within 24 hours. Then they scheduled me for the initial background.
Sure.
The next day, I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's moving
I
along.
mean, I felt made. I thought I was in.
Done deal.
I was like, I'm in. I go to the initial background. You know, you start seeing some shit, and I'm like, huh? What? All right, cool. So then they put me in the room. I do my initial background. They kind of bring up some stuff that's kind of like red flag,
Sure.
not even bad at all.
Yeah.
And then they never called me back. I was all right, cool. Fuck it. 2017, same thing. Went through the process again. Boom. Another chance. I do the interview. Another panel. It's diverse oppositely, right? Same questions.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me a 92.
You're still boxing the whole time?
No, I'm not really boxing anymore. No, I gave it up. I was training maybe even a little bit just for.
So did they tell you that you didn't pass your background, or they just did that initial background and then boom, you just never got a call again?
Never got a call again.
Okay. Yeah.
You had already injured your bicep?
No. So this 2017.
Yeah.
I do a second interview. They send the 92. I'm familiar with Frank's. I'm going to all these trainings.
Sure.
I know
Right.
the protocol. If it's under 95,
Yeah.
tough shit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm discouraged. I'm like, this is some bullshit, right? So then I applied again, I think 2019 or something, and I didn't hear back. So then the pandemic happens. It puts everything at freeze.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know what happens, right? So 2020 comes, and then I lose my little sister, right?
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Leslie.
Sorry.
We think it's COVID related.
Mm.
But my mom's still like lawsuit. I don't know what's going on. So January 4th, 2020, lose my sister. It was fucking hard, you know, because it's only it's me, my sister, my brother. So I kind of just go back to my old habits, right? Anger, frustration.
Because now the fire department's falling through. You're not boxing anymore. You lost your
So
sister. Yeah,
it kind of it just seemed like the right thing, right, at the moment. And pandemic happens in March. I'm working for Mayor Garcetti.
And what are you doing at this point? You're still doing the
Calligraphy,
yeah.
But now they're not giving out the certificates no more.
Yeah, there's
Because-
nothing to give them
right?
out for. Yeah.
So they tell me,
They're not.
tell me, you have seniority here. You've been here the longest. At that moment, I had been there already 13 years, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
So then they sent me home for a day because I'm seniority. I'm the only guy who's married, who has kids, right? So I go home for one day. After one day, they call me back. Hey, man, we need you back in the office. I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, I have kids. My wife doesn't know what to do. So, no, we need you back in the office. So then they put me on schedule for working because I'm as needed. I'm on salary, right?
Yeah.
So I'm working 7 days a week during the pandemic. My wife's working from home. My kids are home. So after working an 8-hour shift, I'm getting home. My wife's stressed out. My kids are going wild.
Sure,
I'm
yeah.
stressed out, right? So I started developing a drinking habit,
Mm.
right? Drinking a lot. So that same year in November, I was at my in-laws' house. Shout out to my in-laws. And I was just very angry, and I started hitting the punching bag. And I hit it to the point where I blew my bicep.
Damn.
So you weren't even training at that point.
No.
You hadn't been training for.
No, I was still training, lifting weights, because I was in my office all day.
Yeah.
So I had weights. I still had like that little hope, like, okay, the application is gonna open up again. Yeah. I'm gonna be able to apply.
So in the mayor's office, you're just in there getting swole.
No, answering phone calls too.
Calligraphy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They're like, who is this fool?
That's the calligraphy. At that moment, I was answering calls from all the people who were going crazy, wanting some answers. I was answering calls.
I don't have the answers right now. Okay, I'm going through my own shit.
So I'm in the office, and I'm still like with hopes, right? Mm-hmm. And then I blow my bicep, right? But you also gotta understand. So from what the doctor tells me, I had never done weights or anything because boxing's against that. Boxing's against that. Yeah, you're trying to lose weight. Yeah. So what? In the process of becoming a firefighter, I started doing a lot of weights, a lot of strengthening. Yeah. So then I blew my bicep. I blew my bicep, and then I didn't know I blew it till the next morning. So I had a long sleeve. It was cold that night. Yeah. So the next morning we take off my shirt, and everybody, the refrigerator, like, oh shit. Yeah. My whole arm was purple. Like the vessels were all popped.
Damn.
So then I called the doctor, and I'm like, hey,
it's a gnarly injury.
Yeah. Oh, super crazy.
Yeah, and then
I never
bleeding
seen
in there
like
and
that.
stuff. So that completely took out any hopes of you getting on the fire department or anything like that, or just in your own head did you say, you know what, fuck it, because that avenue's closed?
I have a warrior mentality. I just said, I'll ice it. I'm half Mexican, bro. We ice everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? We ice everything. So I called the doctor and said, yeah, come to the urgent care in, I think it was on Oceanside. Then they sent me back. They said, no, it's COVID, blah, blah, blah. So I went back. I iced it. The doctor said, just ice it. Just ice it. A video phone call. So I iced it, and eventually the swelling went down. The bruise went down. And it took until like one day when I was home, and I picked up my son, and my bicep completely detached.
Oh, wow.
So this was 3 months later.
Oh, wow. No way.
So they couldn't reattach it no more. So then,
yeah, that's crazy.
So it was still functioning and everything, and then
it wasn't functioning because I just wasn't using it.
Ah, okay.
I just needed to use it. So that one time that I used it, so then I go to the doctor and said, we're gonna have to do an emergency surgery, and we can't save your biceps, so you're gonna have a donor bicep. Gotta just start looking for one that matches your arm or whatever.
You're like, damn, can I just get like a big one? Can we get like
that's what I'm saying, man. Anybody yoked recently die?
It's pretty strong. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting therapy at Frank's, and it's helping every day.
So how did you wind up working as a civilian worker for the fire department? And we're getting to our last couple minutes here. So just to kind of put a bow on everything, how did you wind up in the position that you're at now? And are you happy doing what you're doing now? Do you feel like this is like your
sky's the limit? Yeah. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I want to thank the captains from the EMS training unit for picking me up. I came back after 8 months of being off. The mayor's office
because of your bicep.
Yeah, the mayor's office was some bullshit. Yeah. And I didn't like it. And
is that your calligraphy arm or your right hand?
I mean, I do both. So it doesn't really matter.
Artist, bro.
So I come back and I don't like what they're doing, right? I'm not the calligrapher no more. Yeah. I come back, I'm not the calligrapher no more. And they never really cared about my injury or anything. So I come back and I make moves on my own. I actually got COVID, and I applied for a transfer. So when I applied for the transfer, I had an interview with one of the captains, and they picked me up. So I come back to work and I tell everybody, they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, we had to do some changes. I was like, no worries. I'm going to work for the LAFD soon. And my wife's like, but you haven't even got the job offer. I was like, I got the job offer. Trust me, I got this. Got the job offer, started January 18th of this year, and just passed probation. I'm happy. Yeah. I mean, I can't compare it to the mayor's office because that's politics and that's very different. Yeah. But I'm happy. I made it into the fire department some way, somehow. Sure. And I'm very thankful for that.
And that's the other thing too, man. And that's the other thing too, is that you never know, just like we said at the beginning of the episode, you never know, twists and turns happen every day in our lives, right? You never know what path that one little twist is going to take you down. And I think your story, just all the fucking twists and turns that it had, it speaks to that. No matter what your best laid plans are for what you think you're going to do in your life, a lot of times life has its own way of checking you and telling you, no, you're not going to do that, bitch. You're going to do this, and you can, and that's something that I think is good for, it's something I try to teach my kids. Like stuff doesn't happen to you, man. Stuff just happens. Stuff happens. And it all depends on how you react to it. That's going to dictate whether your life is happy, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, because it's all relative to how you look at your life and how you think of life and what you think is good, what you think is bad, and all that stuff. So if life throws a monkey wrench in your plans, just realize that it's all about how you react to it. It's all about, because you could have taken a different turn on any of those different intersections that you had, and could have been in a completely different spot than you're in right now.
Yep.
You got a beautiful wife, you got a beautiful kid, you know what I mean? You got a family that loves you, you got a great job.
Yep.
And it's just, it's just crazy to me how life can do that to you, and it's really just up to you how you react to all that stuff. Luis, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you
and telling us your crazy story.
Thank you both for your service and everything you do. I hear your podcast. I have mad anxiety, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, I've been listening to you guys. I feel like part of the conversation. Literally, I'm laughing, like I'm giggling, I'm clowning. And like they say in the streets, SH. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Right. And I've heard your stories, and I could relate to a lot of them. And I thank you guys for bringing me on here. And just the other day, I met a actor. So, sky's the limit. You never know,
hey,
right?
Thank you, man. Now you're one of the stories, dude. Like, we couldn't even get into everything because you can't give like details of some shit still.
That just calls for a part two.
Went over an hour.
That just calls for a part two.
This is what I'm saying, man. Luis, you have anywhere that people can follow you or find you?
I don't do social media.
But look up his YouTube videos. Check out his boxing.
That's right. You can see this all fights.
If not, you can find me at Frank's.
Yeah, how do they search you on YouTube?
Stop by and we can have some lunch.
You guys can follow me at DannyGonzo34 on Instagram and Twitter.
Follow me at Ben9Humor, Ben number 9 Humor, like a 9 tumor on Instagram and Twitter. Follow the show at PRC Pod on Instagram and Twitter, or at PRC Podcast on TikTok, or email us contactprcpod@gmail.com. If people want to search for your fights, they just type in your name.
Luis the Mayor Mora.
The Mayor.
Luis the Mayor Mora. I also want to give a shout out to Superb Boxing, North Hollywood. You guys that want any classes, you contact my buddy Jose.
All right.
Superb Boxing.
So you work for the mayor, and you were knocking fools out as the mayor.
Yeah, that if you
get a little Villaraigosa wig on.
Yeah,
never. But everybody
did you come out in a suit and tie?
Everybody in the neighborhood knows me as the mayor. So you say the mayor.
What was your song?
My favorite song to come out to was Tupac, "Ambitious of a
yeah.
Ambitious of a Rider."
All right, man. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Take care.